Literally, people, there's the void that's usually there. People feel it, it goes through. Next day comes, it's there, and this is regular life. This is this is regular life for the majority of everybody who's not getting into really like growing their spiritual side. It's just more of like just taking care of the physical aspect and identifying with that, but in an unconscious sense that has gaps and unawareness about who it really is. And the food really seems to be that block for people to make that leap in consciousness and spirituality. Like,
it's a roofie. Pharaoh used to always say, like, food is the roofie. It's a spiritual roofie. It's like you eat the food, and then it's like if you're being raped,
oh man,
and it's like it's a spiritual roofie, and it made sense to me. Like it's just again blocking the light. You're taking the food in, it blocks the light. You take things in, take different forms of light in, it blocks the internal light, and then the projection is just interfered with. The signal from God or whatever, from the inner God, however you want to look at it, from the first eye, that projection, that update, that checkup, you kind of what we call dreams and stuff, that's being interfered with because it's just like light pollution in a city. You can't see the stars. It's like you can't see the light on the inside if you got all that light on the inside already.
So this is just concepts to everyone who's watching this who hasn't got to that point. Like, and yesterday you were...
It sounds like words, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's words. It sounds nice and it's attractive. But I'm more wanting to tie it into... Yesterday you were just telling me how you were coming off of like 81 days of green juice and coconut water.
Yeah.
And when you're reduced, you're completely reduced to that point to where you saw that reality, you saw where it was going. It's kind of scary seeing where it's headed. And it's the specific point in the conversation we got to when you want to go back and like going back and putting obstruction in your body after being completely reduced.
Again, it's just not being holistic and not the Tao Te Ching. I feel like any question that a human can ask can be answered in the Tao Te Ching, and it's just that people don't want those answers. Them answers are so they're concise and quaint, and there's no running from them. There's no eloquence in it, really. So, like, I feel like, I just went against what I had already ingrained into my cells, Like, wise men don't prove their points. Men who prove their points aren't wise. And, like, I just was like, man, I'm on these liquids or whatever, damn near 100 days on just coconut water, and I had, like, green juice maybe, like, 10 of those days. And, like, I don't know, I started getting offers to go play ball overseas again, and I figured, like, man, I could really help humanity in a roundabout way if I document me playing on. I knew that I wouldn't care enough about football on coconut water. I just don't even care. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't even care about anything. I don't care about shucking and jiving. I don't care about attention. All that shit, like, I really don't care about the deeper I got into it. And then that's the conflict of interest, where it's like, damn, what's my life's purpose or whatever, and like, how do I share this piece with people? And I felt like I could reduce into smoothies, and I would have enough stimulation from the smoothies to give a fuck about something like playing sports and documenting it and bringing that to people to show them, because that's like more in alignment with other people's value system. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you can do this on sports. Well, I mean, you can play sports while you're on this lifestyle. So, it gives it some validity, and that's kind of what I did. I went that way instead of just being like, you know what? I already realized, like, I'm at peace now, and if I take my oxygen mask off, I'm gonna drown, and then everybody else, it's not gonna help anybody else. So I went with the roundabout way, like, let me show people, let me prove my point.
So you weren't proving your point. Fasted about 80 to 90 days.
I proved my point to me.
Exactly. Well, you prove a point to yourself, and but now get into you wanted to prove a point where you could bring this piece to worldly affairs like football, like professional football or something like that.
Yeah, just to say, because for people to see me getting hit and hitting people and competing in such a collision oriented game. I felt like that would just give validity to this, like, you don't need to eat carcass to do these kind of things. But, in a lot of ways, it's like the information's already available. They've already excavated Roman gladiators that were in Turkey, because, Turkey was part of Rome at that point, the kingdom. And, they found that, they weren't feeding the gladiators meat because it was just too expensive to feed slaves meat. So they were just eating mainly lentils. just the inflammation from carbs and from grains will just make you blow up. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just gruel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just the same way like ox or anything eats like grains and grasses and they get huge. Bulls and all that stuff, like they get huge, you know? And it's just, you know, I guess that point had already been proven thousands of years ago in a lot of ways. And anyone that wants to prove that point to themselves, it's available for them. But I was just like, man, let me do this. Let me show the world this, even though I've already showed the world myself that. And from the inside out, I could have kept rolling with that. And like 10 days into like stepping away from that, like my life, I just immense suffering for a long time.
So right when you stepped away, and it's just something where I really want to like exaggerate how it's something that, because I haven't gone through, I didn't get to the point of being reduced on juices and coconut water, and then to the end of it
and no
being all
dehydration.
dry.
Yeah, no dehydrations.
Like,
I wasn't smoking. I wasn't doing anything to dehydrate. Everything was all complimentary. I wasn't doing anything that would dehydrate my body.
Just balanced elements, just subtle adjustments all day.
Yeah.
In alignment with all the rhythms.
Yeah.
And everything going on, and it's a level of peace, it's a state of peace that I can't fathom until I actually go and experience.
Yeah.
And so you saw it for yourself, and you know, hearing your perspective on it, it's like, damn, you really went to a place that exists. Not many people know it exists. Yeah. Like, and so you're there, and you know, when you're there, it's like, how do you communicate with people? You know, when you're at that state of being, and it almost gets psychedelic at a certain point, right? Yeah. Because there's no separation between you and everything. Yeah. You know, as limitlessness and all that stuff. Yeah. And so that state is where this dude's at. So he's like, let me see if I can just go back to having, you know, smoothies or food to engage again, but from a way lighter space. But it didn't go well.
Yeah, no, it didn't.
Like, as far as like not as making it happen, but just.
Yeah, you know, I guess I learned, I remembered a lot or whatever, but yeah, it was a lot of pain, a lot of physical and all types of pain and a lot of stress that just from going away from that. I just kind of was like in a space where I was like, man, I feel really supported, and like, you know, it just so happened that in that period in time, I was at my mom's house, and it was just really easy to fast. Usually it'd be the other way around. Usually being around my family and everything like that would be like, damn, this is difficult. You know, I'm bickering with these people. You know, I'm not doing anything with them. I'm not eating with them. I'm not smoking with them. I'm not drinking with them. I'm not doing anything with them.
But it's tough. I mean, it wasn't tough when you're doing it, but it seems impossible.
I had got in stride enough days by the time I got to my mom's house that it was just like my body was in that mode, and then so. You know, like, I think, who was it? Was it Ram Dass that said, like, you think you're enlightened, go around, hang out with your family? I think that's who said that. I don't know. But that's when
Rumi?
I felt...
Rumi,
somebody, I don't know. But, like, I just feel like that was the point when I was like, all right, cool, I'm past that. Like, I'm good with the family thing. Like, that, they don't bother me no more.
You just want to love them.
Yeah.
Like you said, maybe it got to the point, like, there was an argument or something, and then after bickering, it got to the point, like, man, I do not want to be hating my family. I just want to love y'all.
It reached that point. I was like, damn, I just want y'all to experience this, and if I argue with y'all, then I'm not experiencing it, so there's no way for you to get to it, because I'm not even going to be a point of reference. We're all just going to be in the
Simple
middle.
Math.
Yeah.
Simple math.
Yeah. And so, you know, the challenge for myself was, like, I wanted to leave. You know, I just wanted to leave that nest and all that support I felt like I was getting. Like, I was allowing myself to emotionally to receive. I wasn't blocked. I wasn't putting any walls up emotionally around my family, and I wasn't like compartmentalizing my emotions and myself.
Nice.
You know, so it was like total flow, and then I just felt like it was like effortless to fast, and I was just absorbing, like, you know, just reading books and, you know what I mean, just absorbing a lot. And then I was like, man, I got to be able to take this show on the road. I can't just be here for the rest of my life.
Well, okay, let's pause here, because you can keep going. Yeah. Like in that flow of reading, fasting, and taking information.
I could have just stayed at my mom's house. I guess I could have.
But that's scary, though,
It would just be like, I'd have to be like, no ego. Like, I'd just be like, all right, man, I live with my mom now. You know what I mean? And but then at the same time, I'm like, damn, is that really what I want as far as my values? Like, if I was to die today, would I be like, you know, when I was in that circumstance, like if I was to die today, would I feel like I wasted my life? I was like, nah, man, I'm with my mom, you know? So it's like, it could be worse, you know? And I felt like that was, I guess, the ego thing. Like, I need to get back at my mom's house. I need to go back to my house. I need to leave. And I want to, you know, show the world what's up, with this,
And that's how it was too. Like families lived together the whole time, right? There was a time when that was what it was. That when families were together, and they grew together and they died together. Now we're kind of breaking other families for agendas and stuff. But,
exactly.
But
no, you're right. I mean, it is like just you, then the fam, then the community, and then beyond. And then it is like it's that simple. It's just people think it's another way around. Like but yeah, like I guess I could have did it a different way. I could have did it more gently and not tried to go play football and stuff like that. But life wouldn't let me. Like I said, 10 days after like stepping out of that nest, I was trying to save my dog out of that canal. He was drowning. I scraped my knee. It got infected. Both my knees blew up like pumpkins. I couldn't walk for months. Literally could barely stand. And then they drained my knee, and they told me I had Lyme's. And I was like, I don't remember ever getting bit. I thought I had a spider bite in 2018. That's the only thing I could have thought that it was
This started 10 days after you began having solids again.
Yeah, 10 days after.
10 days after, so you're all liquids, and then started to get that first smoothie.
I mean, solids being smoothies.
Smoothies. It's smoothies. A smoothie is a solid. That from like out of just coconut water, being dry fasted until 4.
Yeah.
And then do that for a few weeks to where now you don't even want anything at 4, any coconut water or green juice at 4.
Yeah.
But so you got the need. That stuff happened 10 days after you had that first smoothie.
Yeah, 10 days of because I just went into consistent, more into consistent life. You know what I mean? Because I had a handful of smoothies. Like I did the 84 days, no fiber, just coconut water and green juice or whatever.
And what was that first smoothie like?
That first smoothie, mad pressure in my head, my nose started running, like slight headache, itchy as fuck from the candida, and then it just was like my whole chemistry changed. And then I didn't even want them. I started questioning like, damn, maybe I'm not gonna play. And then it just was like, I kind of like started to wean back into it. Like I have a couple smoothies a week, and then once I got to about 2 months of that, I still was predominantly juices and coconut water. I was like, all right, I'm gonna have a consistent smoothie, 10 days. I'm gonna have 10 days I did like smoothies every day. And then by the 10th day, I did a bunch of traveling and everything. Like I said, I scraped my knee, infected, couldn't walk for months, just now healing from that. You know what I mean? Just now getting the swelling down on this knee to where it's decent. And like, and now I'm just like, crawling my way back, and it's wild, like to go through that.
The fall. That was the fall. This is where I was getting. Is like if food's a spiritual roofie, and you're in the garden, liquids and coconut water. What is the fall of man out of unity or out of oneness or out of like communion with God? If it was oneness and no separation, to fall out of that, this is sort of where you're bouncing back from now.
Yeah, the separation consciousness. Yeah. It just be like that, man, because there's just so much separation in the bowels. Like the food's between the walls of my bowels. Yeah. So there's separation in there. So I'm gonna experience separation in my emotions and thoughts and around. Yeah. And it just became so obvious. Then life got so intense, and my dreams got so intense, and it's just like, I don't know. Like when I first time I did like 13 days on water. First time I did a week, 8 days on water. Like it was like a sneak peek into the lifestyle I'm in now, like the peace that I have now. And then I felt like it just was like gradually sustaining it and getting to places where I'm gradually sustaining it longer, and then different periods of the year. Like I was like, okay, in May and in late October, every year my body just naturally, innately goes into fast on its own. And as long as I get out the way of that, then I can get behind that momentum and extend that fast. And that's kind of what I was doing, just doing extensive fasts until they started to kind of meet. Till it was just like, all right, this is all, it's never ending. It's like I'm stretching this fast from October to May on just smoothies and juices. And then from October to May, I'm reducing to just juices and coconut water. That's what I had done. And then it just, I saw like the progress of that and where it was going. And then, the manifestation rate was just so rapid that it kind of got, spooky. And then it's just like when...
Spooky... Like what? Is life's picking up in infinity?
I just felt like the solipsism thing, like where it's just really nobody. I can't validate anything but my own consciousness. Like everything else is like projection.
Knowledge of self.
Yeah, like everything is just there, just a reflection of me. And the only thing that I can validate is my own consciousness. And then if I see my own consciousness in other people, that's all I'm seeing. I'm not seeing other people.
And it's more confirmation.
Yeah, and then it just kind of feels kind of scary because you're just like, damn, this is a lot of control. It's a lot of responsibility. Like, where can this go? You know, what do I really want? And it's like really relearning yourself. Like, you know what I mean? Once you stop like taking in things, then you realize like, damn, I like this or I don't like this. Like it becomes way more apparent. And then it's just like really like relearning who Taylor was.
Lie to yourself.
Yeah. There was no space. There was no space to hide in my body. I couldn't hide nowhere. It was just crazy how much control I had. I felt like I just had so much control over life and the environment, and then I just didn't need anything. So it was just like spooky. And sometimes I'll be dry fast until 4. That was my intention. But then I look up at the clock and it's like 6 or 7 p.m. And I'm like, damn, I don't want anything. I guess I could keep this going. You know what I mean? And I did a few dry fasting days that just dry. But like, it really gets to a point like after 2 days, like go through a day of dry and then make it to 4 p.m. The next day on dry, I'm like, yo, am I never gonna have anything ever again? You know? And then
who's asking that question?
Yeah, I guess just the person talking to the consciousness.
It's by default, there's the persona.
Yeah.
At the bottom of the tree of life. Like, it's like what I'm learning in the Medu Netter is like, it's gonna be an arbitrary mimicking that the persona can only do when it gets here, getting all of its info from outside.
Yeah.
Like, and so
there's nothing else to draw from.
Exactly. You have nothing else to draw from. All you could do is mimic. And so all the beliefs that you get, once you get to a certain point of self-awareness, you realize all the beliefs and things that you like and don't like, it was sort of made out of like an arbitrary mimicry of what was going on in the environment. And when you get more spiritually mature to where you're fasted, and that persona is, its whole life, it's been having food, and now it's asking, could I just go without having food?
Yeah.
Is it just going without food for
Yeah.
But that persona's got to die to the self.
Yeah, it does. You know, or evolve, I guess, to another new level, new devil. You know, and it's like, it's wild, man. How like, you know, you just be so. The problem was me being satisfied with things that I didn't think I'd be satisfied with. You know, like I didn't think that I'd be satisfied with like, you know, just listening to harps. For, you know, and no other music, because music got so loud. You know what I mean? Like everything got so loud, man. Like everything was just, like, I was so sensitive to things at different periods of that. Like while I was like recalibrating, I was like, man, I going into society, like the music in the grocery store will be loud. You know what I mean? If I catch a sad song, I can feel the sadness intensely. And then if it's like an upbeat song, I can feel my heart rate change.
Yeah, just imagine like you in a car, in like a driver's seat of like a Cadillac. Fat guys in the other seat, and you're listening to the same track on loud.
Yeah.
How is sound moving through their body?
Yeah.
And how is sound moving through your body?
Yeah, no, it's like so much attachment. They got so much there.
Like if the sound waves just be hitting out all the density.
Yeah.
It's not, but
it's just like buffering everything.
It's buffered all the way,
yeah.
but you're in the same car listening to the same track at the same volume, and you're just getting like, wait, because all these sounds are moving through, and there's no separation in your consciousness, so. You're really hearing that. You're really hearing those lyrics to where, like, man, these are brash lyrics. I'd rather listen to a harp.
Yeah, I can't nod my head to it in agreement. It's like yeah. My body is not in agreement with it. Yeah, and it's like, damn, man, how do I appropriate this so I can still enjoy things with people and not come off like pious or lofty, you know, or condescending, you know?
Is it possible? Is that even possible?
People make themselves so low that you're going to appear high. So it's tough. You know what I mean? Like, you got to really just...
be in the same room, they would hate you for just
and like, how do I get more meek than that? How do I get lower than that? You know, I guess that's a challenge. Like, how do I get lower than people that are like artificially low?
Yeah, that's the down, huh?
You know what I mean? Because they're like artificially low. It's not like they're really low.
Oh yeah,
you know? It's not like a it's not like a humble low. It's not like a, you know what I mean? It's not like that. It's like a just breaking energy, and now the energy's just broken. But it's not like they had any intention of like getting low to receive. They just. It's kind of the opposite.
It's a metaphysical lower, just like there's a higher part of the tree and a lower part of the tree of life. You know,
yeah.
Like it's not low, like but it is dense. It is metaphysically dense.
Yeah.
Like this is quantifiable. There's just levels of density, levels of buffering reality, to where everybody has the same problems, just at different speeds.
Yeah.
Right?
That's it. Yeah, that's it, man. Yeah, that's it. Everybody, yeah. I guess it's buffering, right? Everything's streaming. You know, it's like buffering, and it's like depending on how much you buffer. I guess it depends on your speed
and how things manifest for you, how the pace of life happens for you. That you're driving at, you're just moving through life and manifest at this speed. This is comfortable in limitation. You know, like we need this limitation and this separation and separate things to feel resistance up on stuff in time.
Yeah.
So we can have a certain rate of growth that seems to be dependent on how fasted you are. Well, not how fasted you are, but
how like it's really like how not drunk you are. Like for me, it's like I was like so drunk on pride, and then the pride turned into wrath and sloth and envy, jealousy. It turned like it's just pride turns into all of that, and you be so drunk off of pride, and people like you've been born drunk. You know what I mean? And then your parents was born drunk, and it's like
this is who I am.
Yeah. We be so drunk off the pride, and then that just translates into the other drunkenness. You know what I mean? I don't know. I can see it, like, you know, so clearly.
Explain this drunkenness, because you're losing like this term. You're using a word. It's probably a perfect word for what's going on. But what do you mean drunk? People being drunk off pride.
It's like you get drunk off the power and abuse it. You know, and in a lot of ways, like people, they know that they can like mechanically do things. Like, you know, it's like if I can get you to give me it, that spiritually I can live with that. But if I take it from you, I'm not gonna be able to live with myself. Even if I got it. Even if I got what I took from you, I can't live with myself. But I feel like people get caught up in like the power of the mechanical end, the persona, the tangible end. So they're like, oh, I can will it from this level, personally, do things to make things manifest, take things or whatever, do what I gotta do. And then they don't get to live with themselves. Though they get all the things.
It's not even in their awareness of like living with themselves or not.
Yeah, it's not even like it's all about the way. You know, the way you get things, the way you go, whatever, the way you manifest. It's like it's all about the way. And you know what I mean? That's the Tao, is the way. And like, and that's, I feel like that's like the major difference.
So it's not what you manifest, it's how you manifest it.
Yeah.
And then that's how you're gonna feel about it at the end, and that's just determining the total quality of that experience.
Yeah, exactly. And you'll be, as long as you can, whatever you gotta do to not, because that's like when people say fearing God or whatever. I fear God. It's like, yeah, I fear leaving this alignment. You know what I mean? Like that's like the only healthy fear. Like just like, I'm so content in this alignment that like.
To die out of alignment is frightening.
Yeah, exactly. You know, yeah, and so I feel like people get drunk on that because they know like I can get these things with charm or whatever it is, you know, physically taking these things, but like if it's not done in a way that's like integral, you know, and that's the thing too, like integration. You know what I mean? Integrity, integration, the integral way is like, yeah, like, you know, I fast for 13 days and then I get like a sneak peek into my future 10 years from then. And then it's like, I gradually integrate. And it's the more integration, the more integral, you know what I mean? Or it's disintegration. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's like, I guess.
Like you get a glimpse of what it could be, but instead of integrating in that direction, you fall into like a fate that's unwanted.
Yeah. It's like, it's just like, it really is like the identity thing. It's just so quick, man, how you can just start creating another ripple that you're going to live out onto. Because, like I said, you know, you get drunk off the pride comes up, the energy comes up, and it's like you got to really, you know what I mean, to really get over yourself, I guess you got to breathe through it or whatever you got to do to where you don't engage in the pride and expand that drunkenness to where you just, you know, because it's just, you know, they call it the spoils of war, you know what I mean? Because it's like all's fair in love and war. War and love are kind of the same. Because it's attachment, and I feel like, you know, when people engage in that, like, you know, the misplaced love, misplaced loyalty, you know what I mean? Like, I love this, I love whatever. I love my family. I don't look at everyone as being all family or one species or whatever. Then it's just, it creates that separation, and then, you know, and then it creates that pride, and then the more.
And the pride wants to get satisfied off more than.
Yeah, and then it's just that lie grows. That like the pride is this lie that you're able to lie to yourself. Like it's possible. Like I can do. You know, because that's where it's like coming from. Is like as soon as you engage in that behavior of even like posturing your emotions that way, you're lying to yourself, and then you're lying and trying to believe that you can get away with this or that this is what you want to do. Like Because if you get anything out of pride, you're not gonna enjoy it. Like I'm saying, like if you take it, then you're not gonna enjoy it than if somebody gave it to you.
But so in a culture of people who are drunk off pride, it's normal to just take. Like how you get things is you take it, and like that builds the pride in the persona, the identity. And you're saying that the way of getting things could be happening through the way of the Tao, and it's not even about getting the things, but the satisfaction of walking that path.
Yeah.
Is what you're going for, to where people are going for the satisfaction of taking.
And you still get the things.
You still get the things.
Yeah, either way.
But it's a letdown for the persona because of how you get the things. It's not even about that at all. And that's the way. And so aligning with the path, with the way like that, to where you're just totally satisfied off of walking the integral path, like integrated in integrity. You're still getting things, but how you get them is just aligned with the path, to where that has nothing to do with the persona.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with the persona. And so this is just the people being drunk off pride. That's just personas building themselves in lies.
It's like in rehab.
Each other. Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm saying like if you was to stop, then your persona's like in rehab. It's like going through withdrawal, and it's starving, and it's like anything starving.
To fill the void.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
I didn't mean to cut you off though.
Oh no, you're good, because that's exactly where I was headed. You know.
Yeah, it's like I really just feel like people. It's the drunkenness off of it. Pride is spiritual drunkenness. I guess that's the way, you know what I mean? Like that is when your spirit is drunk. Like it's literally, going into, and then then your body becomes physically drunk, because that's the physical spirit.
And then it'll just pop a roofie.
Yeah.
That's the best of pizza.
Yeah, right. And it's the same. That's it. Something slip up in your drink, and then that's it. And that's it's funny. It's just like, because that's what it is, man. You're just like cleaning the water, more and more. Like, I guess we can go into urine therapy after this, but like, it's just cleaning the water. Like, you know what I mean? I have a smoothie. Say if I have a chocolate smoothie or a chocolate shake, whatever you want to call it. Vegan milkshake.
Yeah, banana and
yeah, it's like dirtier water than if it's fruit smoothies, and then that's like dirtier water than if it's just coconut water, and it's just more consistent with my blood. So my blood isn't going up and down, and then my emotions just gonna follow my blood. Everything following the blood. The blood's following the breath, and everything in the body is following the blood. So it's like, if I'm taking things in that's closer and more consistent with my blood, like green juice, having the chlorophyll consistent with melanin and the blood.
So gentle.
Yeah, the blood's not being adulterated so much, you know what I mean? So it's just really clean. And then, in TCM, they call the blood water. So it's just really like the cleaner that water is, like the clean. If I'm going from the shakes to the fruit smoothies to the coconut water and green juices, then that water is getting cleaner and cleaner, and then obviously my body is water mostly, or moisture, dense air basically. That's cleaner. And then I can reduce it to where I'm only taking in water.
And there's no pressure either.
Yeah.
There's not as much pressure in your system.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Clean and no pressure.
Yeah.
Lighter.
And you're not used to that. Like
pure and light.
Yeah, and people I wasn't used to that. I was just used to pressure. I was used to being stressed out. Like I was like really, like I was like, something's wrong if I'm not stressed at a certain level. And like, I just didn't know. I had never experienced any contrast to know like that I don't have to live that way. Like I don't, and then I just started to see everything slowed down to where, there was so much space between each breath. I could see like, I'm behaving from this organ, or behaving from my kidneys. I'm in anxiety right now, or whatever it is, like, or my bladder. And like, I could just tell like, man, the more that you reduce, the more that you slow it down, and then you have mad time. Like you just have like infinity, I guess, at that point. And then you can just constantly manifest, and then, it just, I don't see what, I don't see why like you wouldn't achieve anything you wanted to achieve with nothing but time, and then your energy's concerted. It's all
so you're
holistic.
In a space with no limitation. You're getting to a space with no limitation.
Yeah.
When the comfort is coming from the limitation, as far as like things being slowed down, having something to be up against you.
Yeah.
Having some, like having some goal, like even to just, if it is in that dynamic, you having to work and having to do all these things to keep getting what you need.
Yeah.
And like in that whole trance of life and having so many things to do and get done and stuff like that. To have nothing.
Yeah.
It's an intense space. It's like it's terrifying if that's all you've ever known.
And people be addicted to the rush. It's the rush, you know what I mean? We get that. We get addicted to chasing, and chasing is running. So it's like we get addicted to running and that rush that comes with that. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like that rush, you know, getting from A to B, feeling accomplished by getting to B or whatever. It's like that, or taking a drug or taking a food, and then the endorphins kick, and then you get that rush. And then, like, I feel like it just, you know, that rush bleeds into everything. And so I was just, because, like, the rush is like almost like, you know, you get in the separation so much that you're literally like pushing yourself. It's almost like Pac-Man when you can go through the thing, go through the game and come through the other side.
Yeah.
It's almost like I was like pushing myself, like just by keeping that pace. Like the Tao pace is like that with my breath. Every movement is fluid with my breath, and there's no stress in it. Every movement takes care of itself. Every action cleans itself up. Every inhale is exhaled or whatever. But then, like, if I'm pushing myself past that and going too hard, then it's like I'm pushing myself in the back almost. By going forward, I'm pushing myself in the back, and then, like, I just stay in this state of rushing and feeling like I don't have much time, and then I literally create that and literally deteriorate because I'm living in time and identifying with that. And it really boils down to that, man. Like, creating that againstness, to feel something against you, feel like a person that's against. That's why, you know, I feel like even in, like, you know, the Roman antiquity, you know, romantics or whatever, it's like I want to feel them against me in bed. I want to feel their skin against mine. But it's that that gentleness that comes with the unification. Like, you know,
that's Tantra.
Yeah.
So it's like romantic love making and tantric love making. Romantic is againstness on againstness.
Yeah.
Tantric is just oneness. It is only Tao. No.
Yeah, it's like the romantic way of getting fire is to, like, rub the sticks together, create as much friction as possible on a physical level to create that passion so that you can mechanically make fire. But then, like, I guess, you know, the Taoist way is, like, you know, use your own internal light to return to the source of light. It's like the fire's never out. It's almost like